Hello, fellow crafters. This is Yana Smakula for SimonsSTM.com. Welcome back for another Yippee For Yana video. In this episode, I have two elegant Christmas card ideas to share using some of my new and old favorite products from Simon. Chances are you already have these supplies in your stash and should be able to recreate these cards easily. And I do encourage you to give these ideas a try. I love all things modern and also all things elegant in home decor, in clothing, and in accessories. And thus, this is the style I tend to choose when I make my handmade cards. Today's video shows how to use black cardstock, a lot of gold in both heat embossing and pen forms, as well as subtle hints of red to create beautiful Christmas cards. If you're not a fan of black cardstock, I know not everybody likes that color, you can try to substitute it for really nice dark blue or even dark green and still use the same card design. I started to work on my card by creating a small sticky handle inside my Misty stamping tool to affix the paper in place, and I used just some washi tape from my stash. Next, I treated the panel of black cardstock, this is Simons Stamp Black, using anti-static powder to eliminate any static or grease I might have had on the paper. I really like to tap on my anti-static powder tool and then use a dry, flat paintbrush to sweep the powder around. This is a tip I picked up from Debbie Hughes a while back, and I've been using it ever since. I find it to be very convenient. Next, as you can see, I already have a background stamp mounted on the door of my Misty tool. This is a gorgeous background called Leaves and Berries. It is one of my favorites this holiday season, and I've inked it up using clear embossing ink. I used embossing ink from Tonic Studios, but any clear embossing ink pad can be used here. After stamping the background, I removed the panel from the Misty and poured antique gold embossing powder from Simons Stamp, covering the entire background. If you've been following my videos for some time, you know that antique gold is my absolute favorite color of embossing powder, and it's the powder I use for nearly every card I make, and not just around the holidays. With the powder applied, I used my heat tool and heat set the powder to melt it. This background, when embossed, looks absolutely spectacular. I really like the fine lines of the leaves and the berries, and also I love the dashed lines on some of the leaves. It's very classy in my opinion. Now, this background can also be enhanced. It can be colored. I decided to go all out and add some shimmer using a gold shimmer pen. There are a lot of shimmer pen products on the market. There are gold and clear shimmer pens from Tonic Studios. I love using those for my cards. There are also gold and silver shimmer pens from Jane Davenport from Spellbinders that give beautiful results, and also a lot of other similar products on the market. Use what you have in your stash. I'm going to use a Jane Davenport gold shimmer pen. This is in color Golden Age, and I'm going to color all of the open leaves gold. As I'm doing this, you can't see much of that on camera, but it really gives the most beautiful result. You can actually see a lot of that gorgeous shimmer on photos. Now, I did double layer of shimmer, coloring all of the outline leaves twice with this pen to make sure that they were really, really shimmery, and I love the result. With the leaves colored, I also decided to color the berries. You can't use your traditional coloring medium here. I mean, alcohol or watercolor markers, because the cardstock is black and those mediums will not show here. You'll need to use something that is opaque to cover that black in the background. I decided to use Nuvo drops and color a red berry to not only color the berries red, but also to add dimensional accents to my background. I added various size berries following the heat embossed berries on the background, and then I set the background aside to dry for about 30 minutes. The Nuvo drops were not too big. In fact, they were rather small, so they dried very quickly. The background looked stunning once finished, very elegant, and even royal in a way. To create a sentiment for this card, I decided to use another favorite set of mine from Simon, the Stained Glass Greetings set. It is such a timeless and classic font stamp set. I find myself reaching for it every year I make holiday cards. I opted for a slightly longer sentiment that reads, wishing you love and joy at Christmas time. I heat embossed the larger words, love and joy, in white on black cardstock to better blend with the background, and the sentiment strips were embossed in white on red. This is Simon Says Stamp Schoolhouse Red cardstock, and then they were trimmed into V-shaped banners and also foam mounted on the card. Now, I did not add any additional embellishments here as I felt this design was already busy enough and any additional sequins or gems would have just got lost here. Now, I also made another nearly identical card. When I make cards, I like to experiment, and if I don't want to mess up my main project, I will often make a duplicate and then try my other ideas on the duplicate project. I wanted to try adding snow to the background of my card, so I made another background and tested adding various size snow dots all over it. I used several products to add the dots, starting with the Storytime paint pens from Jane Davenport in Snow White. I first used the largest pen to add large size dots all over the background. Next, I moved to using the small size pen to add medium sized dots. And finally, finished that blizzard on the background with Sakura pen in sizes 8 and 10. Here are what the finished cards look like. I really like the one with added snow. It's very fitting for winter, although I think they both turned out beautifully. I'd love to know which card you like best. Let me know in the comments below. If you make a card inspired by this video, and I really hope you do, we'd love it if you shared your project online and tagged us on social media. We always love seeing what you guys are making. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe this channel if you haven't yet done so. Thanks so much for joining me today. Love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye!